Hi, everyone. Welcome to Fitzy Friday. Sean Fitzgerald, one of the personal trainers here at Upper Valley Aquatic Center. So, glad everyone could join. And like always, go ahead, like, subscribe, right? See if we can get some knowledge out there. And for anyone that's new, so on Fridays here, we basically get to talk about any questions that some of our members get, anyone that kind of sees the channel, they're able to kind of ask, and we kind of go through fitness myths, different topics that kind of are in our industry. We get to chit chat about anything that kind of covers the umbrella of the industry and kind of chit chat about what's going on. So today we kind of get a lot of questions. So today we're going to go over targeted fat loss because right now with everything happening, gyms kind of opening up and people trying to get on weight loss plans and still look good for summer, keep that going. We get a lot of questions about, well, I want to lose X, Y, and Z in this spot. I want to look better at, here and things like that. So we're kind of going to go over what targeted fat loss is it possible? Where did it come from? Things like that. So kind of talk about why this term has come into our industry. So basically what some people think is I hire a trainer, you basically fix me, right? So not really how it works, right? We do have the background, we can help improve certain things, help meet goals and things like that. But when you come in and want to say, I want a six-pack like Channing Tatum, awesome. Okay, let's be realistic now. What do you really want, right? So we need to take a look at basically 10 steps before that. Why do you want to look like that? What are you doing outside the gym? So there's a lot to go into that. It just does not happen overnight, right? So we want to take a look at when someone comes in and they're like, I want to lose this right here, right? Always in the stomach. I want to lose it, right? Well, doesn't really work that way either. So we got to kind of take a step back and, basically what we start with is let's have a sit down. Let's talk about why you're in here. Why are you joining me, right? Like what can we do, right? Let's get some questions. Let's get some answers. Let's have a nice little conversation. Then let's go through some, some screenings, some movement patterns. Like let's get, put you on the scale. Let's see if we can get your weight, your body fat, things like that. Let's get some numbers to start giving us a picture and an idea of what we're looking at as a whole, not just one area, right? So let's go through that. Like, how's your movement quality? You want to lose maybe some weight in your stomach, but can you put your arms above your head, right? Are you able to do that? Are you able to squat up and down? Right? Do you have movement within your hips to really move, right? So you want to lose that stomach, but are you able to actually even do anything to help start that process, right? So let's go through those screenings. Let's go through those movements. Let's see what limitations your body has and what it can and cannot do, right? And then we can start moving into what your interest is, like what you want to try to look like, things like that. So let's talk about targeting your stomach, right? That target area that everyone's always asking for, that everyone always wants to get rid of, right? I know some people are crazy about the dad bods, the mom bods, whatever, right? You want to look a certain way, great, right? So targeted fat loss is something that does not happen, right? You can target a muscle area, right, with exercises. Like, I want bigger biceps. All right, you do exercises basically for your biceps, right? You want bigger triceps, you do tricep exercise. I want a bigger chest. You have to do several different areas to hit the whole part of the chest, but right? So those are a little more doable, right? Because you're working a certain muscle group, okay? So with targeted fat loss, it's not how it really works. You don't get to do sit-ups and core work and it magically sheds off, right? If you take a look at, like if you guys have, you don't like your triceps right under here, right, this little area, well, you do a tricep exercise, you build that muscle up that can assist in getting rid of that, but it takes more, right? So you want to lose your stomach, right? You got to do core exercises, right? So, okay, core exercises will only get you so far, right? So we want to take a look at body fat percentage, okay? So you look at your charts, and basically body fat will dictate what you're going to look like, okay? So you can literally have, say, 150-pound people, right, behind me, right? There's 6 people standing behind me. They're all the same weight, right? But each person's going to have a different body fat percentage. Each person's going to look extremely different from one to the other, okay? So that's the number we want to try to work at. So now you take a look at body fat, it's 0 all the way up to as high as unhealthy ranges, right? So you want a 6-pack. Well, your body fat percentage has to drop all the way down to around 7. Okay, so like you need to get extremely low because you have to actually be able to expose your abdominals. Okay, so that's not really feasible for a lot of people, right? So when you take a look at these movie actors, right, these athletes, right, like what do they do for a living? They are literally working out for a living. They get paid to do it, right? They have chefs, they got nutritionists, so you don't have the luxury for that, right? Like that's not something everyone gets to have, right? So you basically are on your own doing this, and it actually takes a lot longer. So someone that's like a Mark Wahlberg is literally, he gets to work out for a movie role, right? So he has 8 weeks to prep. He gets to hire the best trainer. He gets to hire his chefs, right? He eats certain things. He trains a certain way. He sleeps a certain way, right? To reach those goals, all right? We don't get to have that luxury. We have life, right? We work, 8 to 10 hour days at a job. If you have kids, you want to go home. You want to go to your family, right? You have events, right? Sports, if your kids are in their band or they're in dance or they're, like anything like that. Like, so you have other things that kind of take really priority that is in your life that is a low body fat percentage, something that is worth sacrificing for something else, right? Family time or time with your spouse or time maybe with some friends going camping, things like that. So what is your priority and what are you willing to sacrifice, right? So even to get your abs to show, you got to have a certain body fat percentage. So, but even if you were to get that low, do you actually do exercises because you have to make your abdominal area actually grow? You actually have to work the muscle, build the muscle up, and then eventually you'll be able to have those washboard abs that you see on TV, which I'm going to say 8 times out of 10, the person's flexing. So if they weren't flexing, it wouldn't look as good. And, Photoshop also does a lot. So again, getting down that low isn't as healthy, right? Especially in women. Women need to have higher body fat percentages, right? Men also need to have a little higher because you need to have healthy fat to help protect your organs, right? Basically, you need something in here to protect, right? You go down, my ribs come right about here, right? I have nothing here, say bone-wise, to protect, right? So you got to have some muscle, you got to have a little bit of healthy fat, right, to help protect all of your organs, right? So let's be realistic as what your goals were. Do you just want to look slimmer? Perfect. That is exactly what we're going to work on then, right? We're not going to say a targeted fat loss is your goal because it doesn't work, because I can have 2 people on my left and my right, put them through the same program for weight loss, and one person might lose it, in their abdominal region. One person might lose it in, around their legs or in their arms, right? So the body will change based on each person, right? Not everyone will adapt the same way, right? It's everyone's hormones level, like where your body is going to pull fuel from, right? Where is it going to burn fat from, things like that, right? So overall, you're going to be able to figure out what works for you, what doesn't work for you. So you want to target an area for fat loss, it will not work, right? But if you target your whole body with exercise and a healthy lifestyle change in the kitchen, then you will see your changes in certain areas, and then more areas as you keep progressing, and then more areas, and then really you'll be able to see the changes in the areas that you would like. All right, so go back to the core exercises, right? So we're looking at body fat percentage. We want to drop it, right? We need to increase lean mass, right? You need more muscle mass. All right, so to get away from like the weight and the scale, like 5 pounds is 5 pounds. 5 pounds of muscle, 5 pounds of fat is 5 pounds. Like just because you lose 5 pounds of fat, or yeah, you're gonna lose that 5 pounds, but if you gain 5 pounds of muscle, 5 pounds is 5 pounds. It doesn't matter if it's fat or muscle. It's 5 pounds equals 5 pounds, no matter what, right? So what we want as a percentage is the body fat percentage to decrease. So your weight can stay the same, but we want the amount of fat in your body to decrease. So increase your muscle mass, right? More muscle mass, basically, not to get too sciencey and things like that, is your body's going to start burning more, right? So you're starting to feel like you have more energy, right? You're starting to burn more. You're starting to build more muscle, right? You're getting stronger. Well, the gym is really only 20% of what's going to be your life. So 80% involves what happens outside this door, right? Outside of the 4 walls, wherever you train, what are you doing 80% of the time in your life, okay? Are you sleeping, right? Are you getting 7 to 9 hours, right? Because you recover over sleep, all right? There's more and more studies coming out that sleep is one of the best recovery tools that is severely not being met, right? Look at your athletes in college, right? Are they even getting that? Nope, because they probably have late night practice or a lifting session, 6 a.m. training, schoolwork. They got to get all their, labs done. They got to get all their any papers they got to write down. So it's, are they getting that? So the same thing kind of goes with the everyday person, right? You get home. Hopefully, you get home like 5, 6, right? You got to eat. Got to have dinner. You want to spend time with the kids? You want to spend time with your family, your spouse, anything like that, right? You got a dog. You got to take care of the animals. So you're kind of running the same thing. Like it comes 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock comes rolling around. Some people still have to work, right? You got work never ends. You take it home with you. Well, if you're not getting to bed at a reasonable time for you to get your 7 hours and you have to turn around the next morning and wake up, how is that going to affect? Like, are you getting your rest and being able to get into that sleep cycle to where you're recovering properly, right? So there's one area. And then the next one is what are you eating? How much are you eating? Are you eating processed food? Are you eating takeout? Are you eating not enough, right? Believe it or not, if you don't eat enough, that could have a reverse effect of what you're really trying to do. Like if you're trying to build muscle, but you're only going to eat like 1,000 calories, you're not going to have enough calories to really gain muscle, right? So those are areas you want to take a look at. And it's like, what are you having for breakfast? Are you having breakfast? Do you wake up? Do you even feel hungry? Are you looking into meal replacement smoothies? Do you make your own smoothies? Do you stop at McDonald's and have breakfast sandwich? So you take a look at it, and if you're like, all right, I'm going to eat 1,500 calories a day. Well, if I stop at McDonald's, it's probably 6 to 1,000 calories, right? So basically, your whole daily intake is fried at breakfast, right? And then not eating for the rest of the day is going to make you miserable, right? You get hungry, you're going to get angry. So it's not about diets, right? We're probably going to go on another kick about diets. It's more of like a lifestyle change. It's what works for your body and works for your life that fits the need that you want, right? And it's a learning experience, right? Everyone is very different, like I can wake up, I can make my own egg sandwich, and I might be hungry 2 hours later, right? If you're kind of in the same boat, well, what do you do when you're hungry? What do you snack on, right? Do you snack on fruit, veggies, maybe some nuts, right? Something that's a little more dense, a little more fiber. Or do you grab maybe some processed bars, Pop-Tart, chips, right? Something like, well, yeah, it might be satisfying at first, but is it providing really any value to your goal? To where, yeah, a bag of chips might be filling for a little bit, but if you were maybe to switch it for like a handful of nuts or something, it might last a little longer. You might not be as hungry, later, right? Or maybe I'll just chug a glass of water and have an apple or something, So it's things that you want to play around with is what food keeps me full longer, what keeps me satisfied with the goals that are trying to work for me. So in the kitchen, that's where you're going to hit the areas you would like. So what's for breakfast? What's for lunch? What's for dinner? Do you snack throughout the day? Do you not have a lunch and do you do something else? So you're going to find out what works for you, but you need to figure out how your body responds to what you're doing, right? You don't want to have a big filling breakfast and then not eat for 8 hours, right? When you're at work or anything. And then you go home and you just basically load your plate on with anything you can find, right? And then what? Then you're just full, you're just like sitting there, you don't want to do anything, right? So would it be better to maybe have something midday? So then maybe your dinner's not as heavy and as much, so those are maybe something to play around with. So being as a targeted fat loss or a targeted area that you're trying to hammer on will be even more of a struggle or more frustrating because you're like, I cut my calories, I don't eat, I don't do all of this, but I still can't make any changes. And so maybe it's what you're doing is why no changes are happening. So maybe you want to take a look at the whole process. So some people do the Fitness Pal app, some people do there's a lot of programs out there that some people try to use. It's kind of basically what works for you, right? You need to be able to figure out what works for your lifestyle, what works for your life, and what you can do for yourself, right? If it's just you jotting things in your notes on your phone, do that. Like, that's no big deal. Like, it's what works for you. If it's logging in an app, cool. If it's taking pictures and writing a note on it, awesome, right? Like, that's what works for you, right? If you kind of forget things throughout the day, well, there's where those journals don't really help. They're not exact, because my hand is bigger. If your hand is smaller, well, those sizes are a little different, right? So you're like, I grabbed a handful of nuts. Well, it might be 20 in my hand and it might be 10 in someone else's. So it's like a handful is a handful, but it can be different for each person, right? But a cup is a cup, no matter where you go, right? So those might be things you might want to look into. So, we want to take a look at everything that you want to do. And, it seems daunting at first. It is, but it doesn't have to be at all. It's literally small changes that you can take, just like, hey, come to the gym twice a week. Those are wins, right? Take those wins and go. It's, I drink a soda a night. Well, what if I cut back to only 5 times? Like Monday and Tuesday, I don't have a soda or something, right? And see how you feel. Like, just making those little changes. And then it's, I eat meat on everything. All right, well, maybe for breakfast I don't, or I try something different, right? It's those little things that you can try to accomplish that doesn't change or doesn't make things too drastic for you. And then you notice where your changes are, right? And see what works, what doesn't work, what you want to take out, what you want to add, and things like that. So, targeted fat loss is a myth, right? It does not, I want to lose my stomach. I do not do 100 crunches a day. Poof, stomach's gone, right? It doesn't work like that. Not at all. All right. So what you want to try to do is build a effective overall program, right, in the gym, because that's what we do, right? We build you a program, and you go through those programs, and you build lean muscle mass, you get stronger, drop your body fat percentage, and then in turn, your body will start to shift. Things will move, fat will distribute different ways, it will disappear in some areas, and it doesn't happen in a month, 2 months, right? It is a journey, right? It takes some time, and basically that is part of it. And it's frustrating, trust me, right? Been there, done that. Like, it's frustrating. You get angry about the way you look, and you get angry about like why certain things aren't working. But it's okay to get angry, but then just stick with what you're doing and take your small wins, right? Oh, 2 weeks ago I was only able to lift 20 pounds. Well, now I'm up to 40. I'm getting stronger, right? And stronger is key because you're able to move, right? Or I'm only able to pick my kids up a couple times. Now I have a lot more endurance, right? I'm able to do it longer. I'm able to play with it longer, right? And those are the goals you really want to reach for. Not in 4 weeks I want a flat stomach, right? Be a little realistic, right? And you'll be all right. So kind of to go back with, we kind of went on a little bit of a tangent, but really, targeted fat loss, not a thing, all right? But overall health is, and that's where you want to go. So build yourself, start out with a nice Q&A and figure out what you want, how you want it, what's it going to look like. Then go into a screening, figure out where your limitations are. Can I move certain ways? Am I able to do any of the movement patterns that I need, right? Can I hinge? Can I squat? Can I carry? Can I push? Can I pull? Can I do all of those basic movements, right? And then stay within your program and make those small little lifestyle changes to help continue and see what works and what doesn't work. Add foods, take foods out, figure out what you like, figure out what you don't like, experiment, try new recipes, and things like that. And, overall, you'll see changes. Again, it's not a horse race, right? It's not going to happen just like that. It's going to take some time. So, but just stick with it and you'll be good to go. All right. So again, I want to thank everyone that kind of joined. So don't forget to like and subscribe. All right. And then if you're ever in the Upper Valley, don't forget, stop on in, say hi to all of us down here, get a tour of the facility, and see what we're all about. And if you got, any friends, family, anything like that, don't forget to share the word, right? Trying to get some knowledge out there. And, the more we can do, the better it's going to be. All right. Well, hope you guys all enjoy. It's Friday, so enjoy your weekend. Have some fun. If you're out in the sun, kick back, relax, play around with the kids, meet up with some friends, have some fun. All right. Everyone enjoy your weekend. And then Monday, let's come back and let's have a good week. All right. You all enjoy.